vast amount of women in our department. They're doing different things. We're in different positions. And we want to be able to share that with you so that you know that this is a job that you can do as well. Because a lot of times women think that they can't do this job, that this is a male-dominant job. Okay, it's a male-dominant job, but what is it that women bring to this job?
Intelligence.
You know, and our male counterparts are intelligent also, but we just bring a whole different perspective because we're made differently than men are made. You know, we think differently than them. We're more nurturers than they are. So sometimes when we go out to calls, we're able to talk people down a lot easier, a lot quicker than our male counterparts are. Everything is not about physical force and you know, having to put hands on all of the time. Sometimes will you have to do that in this job? Absolutely. But you're going to be using this a lot. You're going to be using this a lot. And how you use your words and how you think through things and how you process is what's going to make you a very good police officer. Now, I've been with the department for 24 years, and I started as a uniform patrol officer. I worked in sex crimes. I've worked in intelligence-led policing, which is over gangs. I've worked in uniform patrol. I've been a supervisor in all of those places, and now I'm an assistant chief over support services. So you can move up the ranks. Different women here are in different positions in different places. It depends on what it is that you want to do and how dedicated to your job that you want to be. So first I want to just point out Major Rutland. She's a commander. She's the only female major that we have in the department. But just know that it's not just about physical strength, and that's where most women have their hang-ups. You can still have children while you're here. You can still go to school while you're here. I mean, I had 2 kids while I was here, and when I came, I had 1 already. So, you know, that's 3 children that I have raised, and my youngest one now is 16. So I'm telling you that to know that you can still have a family while you're a police officer. And then you also just need to, and if you have a spouse, you need to just make sure that your spouse understands what the job is. And we have classes now, you know, Bridgeport training that we give, you know, for police officers to kind of teach you how to deal with the mental side of being a police officer, and so that your family can understand the mental side of being a police officer. But we are very, very, very excited to see all of you here. And I really hope that you all decide that DeKalb County is where you want to be. And I'm going to turn it back over to Detective Robinson. And if you have any questions, we'll all be around, and you can come up and ask us anything. Nothing is off limits.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, guys, so this time I want to go ahead and share with you what the process is like. So what do you do to become a DeKalb County police officer? The first step is to fill your online application out. And we're going to give you further instructions and directions to be able to do that before you leave today. Once you fill your online application out, you'll receive information from our Human Resource Department in reference to your physical agility test. What is that? Some people call it the PAT test, the PAT test. But that test is basically we're making sure you meet the minimum requirements to do the job. You have to have some sort of physical abilities or physical agilities to do this job. Our test is a 5-part test. There is a run, there's a stretch and reach, and we'll show you a video of some of these things. There is push-ups, and it's per age and per gender. So you will not have to do what everybody else has to do. You're going to have to do per your age, and of course, as a female, you're going to do it per gender. So push-ups, sit-ups, stretch and reach, and then we have our obstacle course. And it's actually really fun if you just take the obstacle out of your mind and get over the fence. There's a fence that you'll have to jump over. You'll run, drag an object, then you'll run and jump over a fence. It's all timed, and you have to come in under the time. Once you successfully pass that, we're going to escort you over to a track, which is not far, and you're going to run around that track 1 time, just 1 lap. You got to make it around the track. The key is to not stop. If you stop, you're going to be in trouble. You cannot stop. So pass your physical agility test successfully, and then we invite you in for a face-to-face interview, and that's when your background process actually starts. What are we looking for? Well, you guys have your sheets in front of you. Of course, you have to be at least 20 years of age. You have to have a valid driver's license. You have to have a high school diploma or a GED, and you can't have any felony convictions or domestic violence convictions on your record. So those are some of the things that we're looking for. Once we go through your background process, and it just depends on, you know, how extensive your background is, how long it'll take. I've seen some not take much time at all, and then if you've had a lot of things going on, it takes a little bit longer. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're disqualified from the process. We're still working on you, but we just have to check everything. Once you go through that, then we will have you in for your oral board. Your oral board is where you'll go for an interview in front of the command staff. There is, I believe, 17 members on the oral board, and you'll have an oral board interview. And let me back up. Before you do that, you will take a CVSA. That's your lie detector test. And I have to forewarn you on that. We're going to be all in your business. Just tell us. There's a lot of things that we can work with, but we cannot work with someone that's being untruthful to us. So you'll take your CVSA. Once you successfully pass all of that, you'll have your oral board. Once you go through your oral board, that's when you'll do your physical, and you're gonna meet Dr. Hill. You'll sit down with a psych and make sure you're squared away. And then we'll set you up for your academy. Your academy is gonna be 26 weeks long, so 6 months, and it's in Lithonia. You'll go home every night. Our training is the best. We take pride in our training here at DeKalb County. They're going to teach you everything. You will be prepared when you get out there to answer the calls. So 26 weeks, go home every night. While you're there, take everything that you can in, learn everything, pay close attention to all the drills and all of the exercises that you're doing. You never know when you'll need them when you're out in the field. So once you do that and you graduate from the actual academy and your family comes out and you receive the shiny badge and you take the oath of office, what do you do then? You're an officer. We're going to send you out to answer the calls, and that could be a pretty scary thing. And that was one of the questions that I had when I applied. After I finished the academy, so y'all just going to send me out there in a car and I got to answer these calls? Yes. But here in DeKalb County, we have something called FTO. So you will not be out there by yourself. You will actually ride with a veteran officer, and they will make sure that you're answering the calls safely and properly and that you're able to handle the job. They will not release you until they are clear and feel that you are safely able to handle the job. So those are the steps that it takes to go, from filling out your application all the way to graduation to actually being released to answer the calls on your own. Once you have been assigned to uniform, I believe it's 2 years now, you will answer calls for 2 years at a minimum, and then you could apply to become a detective or be assigned in any other unit in the department. And all of you guys are capable and able. You all came out here because you're interested, and with that interest, don't just let it sit there. If it's something that has been on the back of your mind that you've been wanting to do, we welcome you. It's an opportunity. It's a great opportunity, and we have a lot of benefits here in DeKalb County. I don't want to read the sheet or read off of the sheet. You've read the benefits here, but the opportunity is endless. I mean, the opportunity to climb the ladder and the opportunity to go to the different divisions, it just does not stop. So I'm gonna pause right there and see if you guys have any questions before I start the actual video, and we'll take a look at that, and then we'll come back for some other things that we need to talk about.
Hurt lady.
Go 107.
Score 107. What is your profession?
Policeman. A policeman is a composite of what all men are, I guess, a mingling of saint and sinner, dust and deity. Called statistics, wave the fan over stinkers, underscore instances of dishonesty and brutality because they are news. What that really means is that they are exceptional, they are unusual, they are not commonplace. Buried under the froth is the fact. And the fact is that less than 0.5% of policemen misfit that uniform. And that is a better average than you'd find among clergymen. What is a policeman? He of all men is at once the most needed and the most wanted. He must be able to whip two men twice his size and half his age without damaging his uniform and without being brutal. He must know where all of the sin is and not partake. The policeman from a single human hair must be able to describe the crime, the weapon, the criminal, and tell you where the criminal is hiding. The policeman must chase bum leads to a dead end, stake out 10 nights to tag one witness who saw it happen but refuses to remember. The policeman must be a minister, a social worker, a diplomat, a tough guy, and a gentleman.
Get it up. Let's go. Get it up. There you go. You can hurt later. Stay strong. Stay strong.
Hard work, I earn my pay. Hard work, move on now. Hard work, got to go, make the call. Hard work, banging on the doors in the morning. Hard work, hard work, shoot. Hard work, you lose them up. Hard work, manifest.
Hi, my name is Officer DeWalt with the DeKalb County Police Department. I am from Fort Stewart, Georgia. I come from a military family. Being I did come from that background, I was attracted to law enforcement. I was hoping to get my degree in criminal justice. I concentrated in multicultural studies, which is why I was attracted to DeKalb County, because I know they're very diverse here. I've been with the department for just under 2 years, so I'm what you would call a new officer. I work in the uniform division, and I feel like my role as a patrol officer is important because a lot of times our reports set the tone for an investigation that could lead to someone going to jail and getting justice for our victims. As a female, I believe my role is very important as well because of our nurturing nature.
Hi, I'm Officer Robert Sumi. I work for the DeKalb County Police Department. I'm from Atlanta and a former United States Marine. In the Marine Corps, I was a military police officer, which really got me ready for the civilian police life. I joined the DeKalb County Police Department in 2002, and since I've been here, I've been assigned to the Uniform Division, Gang Task Force, Part-Time SWAT, Full-Time SWAT, and the K-9 unit. I joined the K-9 unit because I have a love for dogs, and I wanted to be able to use the dog to help officers make better cases, as well as track down suspects involved in serious crime.
Yeah, I'm Detective Tirado with the DeKalb County Police Department. I've been in law enforcement for over 18 years at this point. Started my career after I graduated from Florida Atlantic University in Florida, and initially started working for a small department in South Florida for about 8 years or so before I transferred here to the DeKalb County Police Department. What brought me to Metro Atlanta was, I know you guys are asking from Florida to Atlanta, why would I make that move? But Atlanta had a very diverse community, and I wanted my family to grow up in a very diverse atmosphere. So we moved up here and began working with the DeKalb County Police Department. I started with the gang unit and intel for Homeland Security, and there was an opportunity probably somewhere around 8 years ago to become a detective with the Special Victims Unit.
My name is Erin Gibbs. I'm a detective with DeKalb County Police Department. I've been with them for 5 years now. I went to school at Columbus State University where I majored in psychology and played basketball for the university there. I began my career in nonprofit. I worked at a homeless shelter and worked with people who were recently coming out of jobs or recently unemployed. And I realized that I wanted to continue to help my community, but to do something that maybe required a little more athleticism or had I can include some of that adrenaline. So I applied for the police department. I knew which direction I wanted to go in when I started. I wanted to work in crimes against children and against women and elderly. So when the position for detective became available, I applied. So I've been in investigations for about 2 years now, and I love it.
Hi, I'm James Conner. I'm the Chief of Police of the DeKalb County Police Department. I thank you for your interest in joining our police department. Let me tell you a little bit about myself and about our department. I grew up in DeKalb County. My family's lived here since 1971, graduated from Peachtree High School, and went to the University of Georgia. I immediately joined the police department. This was the only police department I applied to. It's my home, and it's one of the best police departments in this country. Like everybody else, I started in the police academy and then became a patrol officer. Our patrol officers, that's what you think of when you think of a police officer. They patrol our neighborhoods 24/7, 365 days a year, keeping our streets safe and responding to 911 calls. One of the advantages of our police department is we have many opportunities for advancement and many different career paths. Once you graduate the police academy and work in our uniform patrol division, you have opportunities to become a canine officer, a bomb squad technician. We have several helicopter pilots on our staff, as well as going down the career path of being a detective. And when you complete those career paths, then you can move up the ranks. We have sergeants, lieutenants, captains, majors, and assistant chiefs, and on up to the chief of police. I've spent my entire career here and made it to the pinnacle of being the chief of police of one of the best police departments in this country. I thank you for your interest in serving and protecting your community, and I look forward to welcoming you to join the DeKalb Police family.
But whoever you are, I want you to understand this is the time. This is the moment you've been waiting on. You've been waiting all of your life to get to the point that you are right now. You're in the right place at the right time for a miracle to break loose in your life. If it had happened 10 years ago, you couldn't have handled it. If it had happened 3 years ago, you wouldn't have been mature enough to handle it. You had to go through everything you went through in the dark to get you tough enough and strong enough and courageous enough and tenacious enough. And now you're ready. Slap somebody, say, I'm ready.
Our academy, we did not mention that it's not a situation where you're going to have to pay. You don't pay us for our academy as is some entities have you do. We actually pay you. You will be paid in the academy, and the day that you start, be it a cadet, and I'll explain that shortly, you'll have full benefits. You'll have your dental, your vision, and your medical the day that you start. So the pay that's on there, whatever applies to you per your education or your experience, you will receive that the day that you start the academy, the police academy. Even though you're not an officer yet, you will receive that pay. Going back to a cadet and what that is, our next academy starts mid-March, and we're pumped up about that. And I know some of you want to be in that academy. However, it will take a little time for us to process you and get you through your background process. The academy after the March academy will start in June. So I know that seems kind of discouraging, but we do have something for you. Our cadet program will hire you. Once we finish your background process, no matter when that is, if it's 2 weeks from now or if it's 3 weeks from now, we're going to hire you on in the department as a cadet. Our cadets are dispersed throughout the department, and they work in different divisions or units, and they assist. It's pretty much administrative work, and we're going to pay you as a cadet as well. It'll be a little less than what it starts as an officer, but it's something. So we'll get you in the door, and you'll be working and gaining experience, which is priceless. So we will start you as a cadet, even if you don't make it into the March Academy and you're standing by for the June Academy.
Now, how many people are maybe with a sorority? Okay. All righty, so you know you're going to pass this information on, right? How many have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever those, all the other little things? So almost everybody in here, right? So y'all going to be posting this, right? Because I want you to get your cousins and your sisters and your aunts and your mama, depending upon, you know, if your mama's older, you know. Because we don't have an age requirement. So if you have somebody that's, you know, I'm 49, I can go out there and chase some of the best of them. I may be winded afterwards, but, you know. So, but we do want you to at least pass the information on to other people too. This is a great opportunity, and we don't want it to just be limited, and we want to give out as much information. So if you have other people that possibly are interested in, you can tell us, you can send them to us, and we'll answer all their questions as well.
So first of all, I want y'all to understand how unprecedented this is. In 20 years, I've never heard of anything like this being targeted just at females to try to recruit in DeKalb County. We also have we had an officer from Decatur who was in here. I think she was kind of getting notes to take that back to her agency. So kudos to Chief Porter for designing this and bringing this together. This is fantastic. This is part of something bigger that we're going to start here at DeKalb County, and Chief Porter and I have already talked about this at length. We're going to be looking at a mentoring program within the department, and it's going to target females. Not be exclusive, because men will be invited to participate if they like, but it is going to be targeted at females, female officers at every stage and every rank in your career, because mentorship is so important. And I'm so proud to be able to see one of my mentors here today, former Captain, now retired Lynn Hess, who came today to support. Is so important, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this, because policing as a woman is different than it is for men, okay? And they have perfected the mentorship. Captain Hess can attest to that. They do a really good job of supporting each other and pulling each other along, and I'm going to look out for you, and I'm going to make sure, because if you keep your nose clean, we need to do a better job of that for women. So I promise everybody in this room that, like I said, Chief Porter and I have been talking about this. We're going to work on it and put it together. We're going to put together this mentoring program to bring women along the same way the men have figured out to do that for many, many years, in the same way, shape, form, and fashion. And like I said, it's just gratifying to me that one of my mentors showed up. I was an officer, a young, hot-headed officer who got in a lot of trouble because I like to get into stuff and really didn't know when to keep this shut. But she had my back many, many times and got me out of many, many jams that could have been really bad for me, and absolutely showed me an excellent example of female leadership, and showed me that it was important to be able to move up. And Chief Porter as well is our only, she didn't say this, our only female assistant chief at DeKalb County Police Department. Kudos to her, and we definitely look forward to seeing some of you all wearing stars in the future.
All right, before we close out, I just want to let you know, I know some of you already made your mind up, your decision that you want to go ahead and pursue the career. I spoke with quite a few of you actually just out in the community. So we do have stations set up over here. If you're ready to go ahead and start your process, you can start your applications today, and we can get the ball rolling, especially if you're trying to slide in this next academy. We're going to get that started as soon as possible. If you're not, no pressure, because this is a huge decision. We get it. You will have an opportunity later, or at any time you can go to our website that's everywhere in here, plastered, to start your application there. It's fairly easy. And like I said, once you submit it, 3 to 5 days, you'll get an email from our Human Resource Department, and they'll give you further instructions about scheduling that physical agility test.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept, Promises to oneself. Promises to one's community. Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
3 years ago, my mom, my sweetheart, who had type 2 diabetes, died of heart disease. We didn't know that if you have diabetes, you are 2 to 4 times more likely to develop cardiovascular disease. And what's truly shocking to me is that millions of people living with diabetes aren't aware of their increased risk for heart disease. What will it take to sink in? If you have type 2 diabetes, know your risk of heart disease. Know your risk of heart disease. Know your risk of heart disease. Be good to yourself and those you love by knowing your risk. Heart disease and diabetes are linked. No matter how you have to hear it, please listen. Because the sooner you know your heart disease risk, the more you and your doctor can do about it. Go to foryoursweetheart.com.
It was a huge pill to swallow. Being told that you'd never breathe on your own, be able to walk on your own, or being able to feed myself on my own completely changes you. You have to realize who the new you is while living with the limitations that you have on a day-to-day basis. I was sitting on the couch contemplating, is my life really worth it? Wounded Warrior Project showed me that I am worth it. My first event was a soldier ride in Seattle, and I got to ride 50 miles on a hand cycle that I borrowed from them at zero cost to me. All I had to do was show up. I'm so thankful that Wounded Warrior Project was there to help me. Being able to open up and not having to re-explain everything that's going on in your life because they get it. I know of no other veterans organization that has been able to help me get to where I am now. Where I started off barely being able to move my arms to now being able to walk without holding on to anything. I am living proof.
Yeah, I'm watching it too.
It's just like we were talking about yesterday.
They leave early in the morning and come back late.
Curtains. They're always drawn in this place.
I know.
There's so many people.
I don't even know if it's the same people I saw last week.
That guy. Seems like he's in charge of them. I don't know. I don't feel very good about this at all.
We have to report this.
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes a simple idea can be developed into something big that can change the world. Every day in schools across the country, teachers inspire students by bringing learning to life. In 4th grade, my music teacher helped me make a vision board. It was a collage that represented all of my hopes and aspirations in music. But what if my teacher didn't have the supplies we needed to make our collages? What if I never got the chance to learn and express my dreams? Unfortunately, that's the reality teachers face every day. They're forced to spend their own money, sometimes just to keep classrooms running. That's why I'm teaming up again with Staples for Students to donate $1 million to DonorsChoose.org, the charity that helps teachers get what they need to bring learning to life for students. It's an idea that's changing the world, and it's easy to help. Donate in stores or at staplesforstudents.org.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep
pedaling. Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.